I want. I won't say cool, won't say perfect. I'll just say a man who protects my heart, who makes me feel chosen every single day, who never lets silence feel like punishment, who never makes me doubt my worth, who never becomes the reason behind my tears. Hey, Dom, welcome in. Safety, just love that feels like home. Hope you're having a good day. After this song plays, I will be getting into the topic for today. Thank you for joining my live. I appreciate it. This is a song that I actually wrote. I actually write music that has love frequency in it to help boost your mood and nervous system regulation. So I actually wrote that song in the background. So let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining the live. I appreciate y'all. If you don't know who I am, my name is Deech Lynn. I am a certified CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy counselor. I am not a therapist. There is a difference between a counselor and a therapist. I'm the one you talk to when you got issues and concerns before you go to the therapist, okay? We're going to try to get your mind right before you have to go spend a whole bunch more money with a psychiatrist. And today's topic is the audacity of emotional chaos. So let's get into it. For those of y'all who have been here before, welcome back. To those of y'all who are new, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate y'all. So welcome back to Flame Your Love Space. Flame Your Love Space is an acronym for find love and make it exciting. And if you want your love life to be exciting, you definitely got to get your mind right, okay? Because we deal with a lot of trauma, insecurities, bad relationships. Our mama raised us wrong. Our daddy told us to go be a player, and that is just not working out for us. This is where we stop romanticizing dysfunction, okay? Just because it arrived wearing lip gloss, smelling good, a nice beard with some spiritual quotes and good intentions. We trying to navigate through all of them spaces, okay? So today we're talking about something that is so deeply important. And as we go throughout the live, if you have questions, if you want to join because you got something to share, please feel free to do so. I do want to get through my lesson, and at the end of the day, if you have something to contribute to the lesson, I am definitely open to letting you come up and share, all right? This is not a space where we're going to be arguing back and forth. There are no gender wars here. I don't play them games. It is actually one of my pet peeves that we as men and women are so against each other without necessarily understanding the root causes of why we do what we do and how it is affecting our relationships. Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. So again, today we're talking about something deeply important, okay? Why do emotionally intelligent people often start questioning their sanity after prolonged relational confusion? Oh my God, this is such a normal thing. You get with somebody, things are going well, you vibing right, you find out this person, you and this person have so many things in common, and but they're not calling you or texting you consistently. They're not asking you out. You're putting forth more effort into the relationship than they are. And that is what is deemed relational confusion. This person is not making it clear to you what they want, but they still want access to you. That ain't happening. Now, this isn't happening because you're weak. It's happening, and it's not because you're too emotional, but because the human mind was never designed to function inside chronic contradiction. Do y'all hear me? Your mind was never designed to function inside of chronic contradiction. Okay? That's not good. Not good. Yes. So, and babe, boo, lover, contradiction will have your nervous system buffering like motel Wi-Fi, okay? Now, one minute they telling you I love you, the next minute you're imagining things, you're making it up. It ain't like that. Put a flame or something in the chat if you have ever heard anything like this before. You're imagining things. You're overreacting. And then suddenly you're abusive because you reacted to being emotionally cornered for 6 months. Man, oh man, oh man, y'all. When I tell y'all, I teach about the stuff I've been through. I don't just be pulling this stuff off my tootie. It be happening. And then I get inboxes from other people that say, oh my God, I'm so glad you talked about this because this has been going on. I've had no one to talk to. It's not funny. I'm here for you, okay? I'm here for you. Now you done popped off because this person that got on your nerve for 6 months and now you're the abuser. Yeah, okay. Moving on. That right there, that's not healthy conflict, y'all. That is psychological whiplash wearing church clothes. So let's get into it. I have several parts that I am going to share with you guys today. I would suggest you get a pen and a piece of paper, put some notes inside of your phone, whatever you need to do to get right, okay? What's up, Raja Dubai? Welcome in. I see you. STYR, Sly R, if you're still here, welcome in. What's going on, CJ, with the dogs? Okay, what's going on, CJ? Welcome in. I appreciate you joining my live. So here's this. You guys, I just told you that I am a CBT certified counselor, okay? So we're going to break this down into a sciencey kind of view, and then we're going to bring it back around so that you can flame your love space. Because a lot of times when we don't recognize that these things are going on in our relationships, we be taking out on our bae, our boo, our lover, and then we never get to the bottom of it. So let's break this down. CBT/flame style, okay? So listen, your thoughts create meaning, all right? But confusion corrupts your thoughts, all right? This is the first part. So in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy counseling, we explore how thoughts, emotions, and behaviors and interpretations all influence each other, okay? So your thoughts are going to create your emotions going to create your behaviors, and how you interpret said relationships, okay? So if you bring in your past mindset into a so-called future relationship, you might have a few problems. I'm just saying. So all of these things actually influence each other. Your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and your interpretations, meaning how you see a thing, okay? How you see a thing. And that's simple enough, right? But here's the problem. CBT actually assumes the information entering your mind is at least somewhat stable, all right? That's what we assume. We assume you pretty much got it together and you just having a little wavy situations. I have wavy situations all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of times. And what I do is I imagine that I have a surfboard strapped to my ankle at all times. It is sturdy. It is yellow and red. Those are two of my favorite colors. And it is strapped to my ankle. And I imagine that when life gets wavy, I jump on it, I hold on to it, and depending on how big them waves is going to be depending on how tight I hold on to my surfboard, okay? So I would suggest you do the same. Imagination and visualization are powerful things, okay? You can use them as tools. So listen, toxic relational dynamics are not stable, you guys. They're emotional escape rooms. Y'all know them escape rooms. Y'all done been. If you haven't, go to one. Escape rooms have you meet up with a group of people. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. If you are taking your friends and family, you gon' know them until it's time to figure out how to escape out of this room. What you will learn is how people respond to pressure, how people respond to direction, how people respond to written directions. Because if you've ever been to an escape room, they will give you clues on how to get to the next level, okay? If you do not read those clues, if you do not follow those clues and those directions exactly, you're not going to escape the room. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? All right, so listen. Here's an example. Your emotions, they hurt. You express your hurt calmly. Like you walk up to your babe, you be like, babe, you know what? you said something the other day, and I really would like to discuss it because it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, and I need to really know like what you meant by that. Now, if you that's calm, that's cool, that's collected, that's mature, right? You approach them, you state your case, and you wait for a response. But this is what happens. The other person says something to you like, I never said that. Now, guess what happened? Your brain has to decide one or two things. You're going to either trust your memory or you're going to distrust yourself to preserve the connection. Now, how many of us have done that? How many of us have done that? If you've done that before, if you brought something up to your babe, your boo, your lover, like, I don't know, something like, well, babe, we're going to do something simple. Babe, I've been really asking, or I really asked for you to take the trash out when it gets full. It's overflowing now. What's going on? You come to them and they say, I never said that. I never said I was going to take the trash out every day. Now you sitting there like, well, but I asked you to, and you agreed, so you kind of did. Now that's where the confusion comes in. All right, and you intend, and then after 6-7 months of that, you're gonna start to think, okay, did I say too much? Am I asking him to do too much? No, you ain't asking nobody to do too much. You probably asking the wrong person. Or you could approach it by saying, ooh, baby, it really turns me on when the trash is empty. Now, this may work for some people. Somebody else might look at you like, really? The trash? Whatever. I've practiced saying it in a way that makes it sound a little bit, intimate. And I have found that because I have said it in that way, that the trash gets taken out. That's just me. That's just something I'm throwing out there for you to try. So moving on. Many people unconsciously tend to choose option B, which is the second one, which is the one that says distrust yourself to preserve connection. You don't want to shake nothing up with this person, so you be like, all right, then maybe I didn't say something about the trash. Well, you're right. Maybe he didn't commit to it. I just said I would like for you to take the trash out. I don't know. That's your situation. Apply it to where it goes. So many people unconsciously choose option B because attachment feels safer than truth. And that's when the internal war begins. Now, you fighting inside your own self. You questioning yourself. Dang, am I asking too much? It's just trash. I mean, what's the problem? Or I could just take it out myself. No, you wanted what you wanted. You want your bae, your boo, your lover to take the trash out when it gets full. That is a reasonable request. You did not come to them all rah-rah, knocking stuff over, throwing the trash over, talking about, see, this is what I'm talking about. You don't ever be taking the trash out. You don't ever be taking the trash out. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. You ain't doing none of that. You ain't doing that. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what I just did. Okay. I had swiped the wrong way. So anyways, y'all trying to learning this thing. So also in CBT, we deal with cognitive distortions. What all that means is your mind got stinking thinking. Your mind is telling you something because our brains are wired to protect us. So anytime something is a threat, whether it be your bae, your boo, your lover, person walking down the street, maybe you feel threatened because you have some past trauma. Maybe someone goes up to hug you, and because you've had past trauma, you had trauma in the past where people have hugged you and it didn't feel right, or they hugged you and they ran their hands all down your body, or while they were hugging you, you went to break the embrace and they just squeezed you tighter. Those are forms of trauma, y'all. It don't have to be nothing catastrophic in order for it to be trauma. What trauma is how you react to something that has been done or said to you. Okay? Do y'all hear me? Trauma is how you react to something that has been done or said to you. The trauma is not actually the thing. Okay? Do y'all understand? That's the thing. So, for example, if you're a person who is now afraid of dogs because at 5 you got chased, sorry, my alarm, because you got chased and bit by a dog, and so for the rest of your life you are afraid of dogs. The trauma is you are afraid of dogs. The root of that trauma is you got chased and bit by a dog. Do y'all understand? Okay, that's what trauma is. So because of the bite, you no longer You no longer feel safe around dogs. I don't care what kind of dog is, big dog, little dog, whatever. That is the trauma. Okay, I hope that y'all understand that. So now let's move on to the CBT distortion. What's up, Stuart? And I think Stuart and whoever, I can't see the rest of your name. Welcome in. So here's the the CBT distortion. This is the first one. Emotional reasoning. You're going to start saying, I feel crazy, therefore I must be crazy. First of all, side note, I despise the word crazy. I despise it. People throw it out like they throw out I love you, and they don't even understand the meaning of it. If you want to know the meaning of crazy, look it up for yourself. It does not apply to everything, and is not even a real psychological term. I don't like that word. But because that is a word that has been programmed inside of us, our emotional reasoning may turn out to sound like, I feel crazy, therefore I must be crazy. The answer to that is no, no, and no. Those are lies. Now, sometimes you feel destabilized, though, because your mind is attempting to reconcile incompatible realities. That's not insanity. That's cognitive overload, okay? Your brain is overloaded with trying to figure out, is this person sincere? Did you do something wrong? Are you doing too much? And are you asking too much? That causes confusion. And we don't like that. Your brain is basically sitting at the kitchen table surrounded by emotional receipts like, but yesterday you said blah, blah, blah. Wait, then why did blah, blah, blah? Hold on, because the math ain't mathing, okay? We go through these thoughts because our brain is confused now. All we simply did was ask this person to take out the trash when it got full, and now we're here, all right? The math ain't mathing, okay? Then why didn't you say something when I asked you to take out the trash? But yesterday you said you was going to take out the trash. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Do you see the cognitive distortions and the emotional thing that's going on? Dom, welcome in. What's up, Fi? Welcome in. So here's the reframe, because I'm never going to give you something without giving you a way to change your mindset. Again, I'm Deech. I'm a CBT counselor. It is my mission and my purpose to teach you how to change the words behind what you think about or the way that you perceive a situation, because your words have power. Your words have power. They have frequency, and we are frequency. So when we enter into a room, if you notice, you're the type of person when you enter into a room, the whole room shifts. That's because our frequency is extended from our body at least 10 to 15 inches. So however you feeling, however you vibing, if you a person that's got a good vibe, you probably gonna walk into a room and everybody gets silent. Cause all eyes on me, hey, you done stole the scene. Your light is shining so bright that all the attention is on you now. You didn't do anything. All you did was walk into the room, all right? So I'm gonna give you a CBT reframe for the stinking thinking that happened when this person made you feel confused because now they tripping about the trash. So instead of saying I'm losing my mind, I'm going crazy because I know that I mentioned something about this trash, all right? Instead of saying I'm losing my mind, try this. Try saying to yourself, because you got to start with you. You can't start with the other person because you cannot control what someone else does. I know you've heard this 8,000 times. All you can do is control how you respond to it. So this is what you're going to tell yourself instead of calling yourself crazy, because I despise that word. You're going to try saying, my nervous system is reacting to prolonged inconsistency. Did you hear that? My nervous system is reacting to prolonged inconsistency. That's a better reframe. It even feels good when I say it. It lands in the body, in my heart space, meaning that now I am giving love to myself by telling myself, no, you ain't confused about nothing. You said what you said. They responded how they responded, and you could choose to respond in a healthier way. Okay? That's it. That's all. This sentence right here can change the temperature of your entire self perception, not the perception about the other person, because you're going to feel how you feel about them, and rightfully so. Your feelings are valid. They caused you confusion. They did not take out the trash. You discussed it. They didn't oppose it. They didn't say they wasn't going to do it. So you had an expectation of this person possibly taking out the trash, even though this is important, they never really confirmed it. You just said what you want, what you desired, and they didn't do it. You're left up to a choice. You can either do it yourself. You can even ask this person again a different way. Maybe they ain't heard you. Maybe they didn't receive you in that way, because people do give and receive information differently. But by this point, if they ain't taking out the trash, it's them, not you. I'm just saying. Now, moving on. Now we're going to add a little bit more science to this. I am a huge Carl Jung fan. If you don't know who he is one of the greatest philosophers and minds of his time. He actually coined the module individuation, where you learn how to become a separate person from what everyone else has told you you should be. He's my dude. I love him. So we're going to add some of his theology, his ideology into this conversation, because he's one of my favorites. There's Freud, there's Machiavelli. I like Machiavelli, but Machiavelli tends to go a little bit on the dark side. And if you're a person who likes to, move around in dark psychology, Machiavelli is your dude. I don't choose to use dark psychology because it's a bit manipulative, but that's on you. You can use whatever information, however you choose to use it. Just remember, there are consequences for every action that you take. All right, so let's move on. So the shadow, which is all of the things that you don't post on social media, all of the things that you hide from other people, but you look at the mirror and those are the things that you see about yourself that may not be so positive. That's your shadow. So the shadow knows before your mouth admits it. This is part 2. Now, we're going to slide into this Jungian theory, because Jung was basically both the goth librarian of human psychology, okay? He was the guy who went into all the dark spaces of our mind to figure out how we could be better, and he showed us that. He actually believed we all carry a shadow. Again, the shadow is that thing that we don't put out, the thing that we don't talk about very frequently about ourselves. That's the stuff that we do not post on social media, all right? Hello, everyone. Welcome in. So here's the deal. He believed that we all carry a shadow, not evil, not demonic. Let's get that out the way right now. The shadow is the part of ourselves we suppress, we deny, or we disconnect from. And here's the wild part, y'all. This is the wild part of all of that. Your shadow, it often notices danger before your conscious mind does. What this means is your body may recognize manipulation long before your nice person identity allows you to admit it, okay? Your body is always going to recognize a threat before your mind does. It'll do things like your heart will start to beat faster, or you'll brace, which is like you'll feel tense. Some of you guys are walking around and your shoulders are next to your ears and you don't even realize it. I remember one time I was at a photo shoot, because I am a model as well. And I was at a photo shoot and the photographer kept telling me, relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders. I didn't even realize I was literally walking around with my shoulders up to my ears, and because I was stressed. I was just stressed and I didn't even realize it. So I had to consciously, throughout that photo shoot, remember to relax my shoulders. And at that time, it was difficult. I didn't even realize I was doing it. So your body is going to respond to a threat before your mind does. I'm sure you guys understand all of that. So here's another example. You're sitting with somebody, okay? They smile. Their words sound supportive, but your chest tightens, your stomach starts to hurt, your shoulders tense. And because you're empathetic, like me, hi to all of my empaths. We love you guys so much. You override yourself. You might say something to yourself like, maybe I'm just triggered. Meanwhile, your shadow is in the corner. Like, this person is wearing emotional press-on nails. The energy is peeling. So here's the concept. Persona versus your authentic self. I would definitely encourage you to look up the word persona. I'm not going into that in this particular live, but it will help you to understand the difference between your persona and your authentic self. Basically, the mask that you wear in front of people and who you is in real life. I'm just saying, that's what that is. What's going on? Tomorrow is not promised. Thank you, Dom, for liking the live. I appreciate it. I do not see the hearts and stuff coming up, but it does tell me that you are liking, and I appreciate you. So, I am going to go into it just a little bit, but not a whole bit, okay? The persona is the mask we wear socially. I just told y'all that. That's the easygoing version, the understanding version, the I don't want no smoke version, okay? That's your persona. But prolonged emotional suppression creates resentment. Like, you want to cut somebody out in a nice way. You want to tell them how you feel about something they did or said to you, but you haven't for years. That is suppressed emotional suppression. You've been wanting to tell this person something forever, and you just don't know how. You don't know if it's going to break up your friendship. You don't know if your mama going to stop talking to you. You don't know if your daddy going to hang up on you. You don't know if your kids going to go silent on you. So you've been carrying this around forever. We going to do that. We going to try to get you through that. All right. That creates emotional suppression, which creates resentment. And then one day, baby, one day you pop off. And suddenly everybody acts shocked. Like, oh my God, they're clutching their pearls. Like, oh my God, I can't believe she finally, oh my God, why is she talking to me like that? Everybody is shocked. But emotionally neglected people don't usually erupt out of nowhere. Remember that, you guys, because some of you might be dealing with narcissistic, some of y'all might be in narcissistic relationships, meaning the person that you're with is exhibiting narcissistic personality disorder. Look that up. Make sure that that's what that person is dealing with. I did a video about it. You may want to go and check it out. It's in the YT streets at Flame Your Love Space. Okay. You might want to go check that out, because this is a phrase that people are throwing out so nonchalant and they don't know what it really means. And that person really ain't a narcissist. So please make sure that you look that up and you check that out, okay? Pressure tends to build in silence at first. It's like emotional microwave popcorn. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Then bing, bam, boom. Now you tripping. Okay? You done popped off because you done held these emotions in for so long. No, it's not the healthiest way, but it does happen. Here's something important, a truth that you need to remember. Your reaction may need accountability. Like, yeah, I popped off. I threw the pot. I threw the glass. No, that wasn't right. I did it and it wasn't right. That's accepting accountability. But your reaction is not always the origin of the problem, y'all. Some people love skipping over the buildup because discussing the buildup would require accountability. Wow! And when I tell y'all grown folks do not like taking accountability for their behavior, that's for some of y'all, not all of y'all, okay? But you will find, hey, Tamila, welcome in. But you will find that when you try to tell a grown person something about themselves, baby, that's when you run into problems. But you cannot skip over this part, because you got to discuss what led up to the pop off or the explosion or the cussing out or the argument. You got to dig into that. You can't just argue, go take a walk, come back, everybody calm down. You go to bed and then the next morning everybody like, oh, hey, how you doing? What you mean how I'm doing? We didn't even talk about what happened last night. So that now is getting compound on other things. Because guess what? When you wake up the next morning, the next day, you gonna have some other issues because you didn't deal with the last one. Okay, moving on. Y'all heard what I said. Here's part 3. Y'all writing this down? I hope that you guys are writing this down. If you are, good, because you know they don't do replays here on TT, okay? And now they don't even let you download the whole video. You just get snippets. So if you made it, great. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so why do empathetic people get stuck, okay? Empathetic people often stay too long because they confuse understanding someone with excusing harmful behavior. Those are not the same thing, you guys. You can understand someone's trauma and still acknowledge the damage they cause. What's up, Dariel or Dariel? If I mispronounce your name, sorry. Hi. You can understand someone's trauma and still acknowledge the damage that they cause. Okay, a wounded person can absolutely wound others. That's that whole thing. A hurt person, hurt people. So yeah, that's what that's all about. So pain is not a diplomatic immunity badge. It's not. Okay, here's the pattern. Many people struggling with emotionally confusing relationships carry beliefs like BS. That's what I call BS. Belief system. Okay. I must earn love. Okay. That's that BS. That's that belief system. If I explain myself better, they'll finally understand. Or here's another one. If I stay calm enough, they'll stop hurting me. I'm not laughing at y'all. I'm laughing with y'all because unfortunately I have had these thoughts because unfortunately I have been in jacked up relationships that have taught me all of this stuff that I'm telling y'all now. I wanted to figure out what the heck was going on. I wanted to figure out what about me was drawing these situations to me. And necessarily, it's not always us, y'all. I'm not. What's up, Eagle Burger? Welcome in. I do not necessarily subscribe to the ideology that you draw the energy that you give out. That's not always the truth. So, Eagle Burger, did you have something that you wanted to add to the conversation, or you just joining in? I saw the invite box line up. Let me know. And the next one is, if I leave, I've failed. Now, meanwhile, the other person is emotionally moonwalking away from accountability. Man, oh man. So here's another reframe. We got to have a reframe because we don't want to be walking around having these thinking thoughts. Because remember, our thoughts create our actions and our actions create all this kind of stuff. It creates our perception. Now we out here perceiving all this stuff the wrong way because we're functioning out of a confused mindset because we have been abused by someone who has confused us. All right. Now, here's the reframe. Love should not require detective work, emotional archaeology. Look that word up. I know most of y'all don't really understand what archaeology means. Look it up. And that's okay. We don't know everything. Look it up. Then you're going to better understand that. Okay. FBI level pattern analysis. You do not need to be a detective in your relationship. If you are, something is off. Or a spiritual seance to get clarity. You don't need none of that. You know what it is. You know how it feels. You know how it lands in the body. Be real with yourself. If communication feels like solving ancient riddles in a lava cave, that relationship may not be emotionally safe. Now, part 4, and we are moving through this so quickly. I'm so excited. I hope that you guys are enjoying the information. If you are enjoying the information and you are getting something from it, please put some flame emojis in the chat. Now, this is part 4. Now, the part 4 is going to deal with the nervous system and trauma response, okay? Now, let's talk about nervous systems because your body keeps receipts. Your mouth tries to shred, okay? When someone experiences prolonged emotional unpredictability, the nervous system can enter survival states. We've all heard this, right? Fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. You guys heard that? I'm sure you have. I don't see any comments in the chat, but Eagle Burger, I see you're still here. Are you enjoying what you're getting? If you are, please put some flame emojis in the chat or tap the screen. Other people, definitely, I would like other people to hear this, okay? So do what you need to do to help me be successful. Because if you're just sitting here soaking up all this information, and obviously you've been here longer than a few seconds, you probably getting something out of it, right? So yeah, don't be stingy. Share it, and thank you for liking the live, Dom. I appreciate you. So, when somebody experiences prolonged emotional unpredictability, the nervous system can enter survival states: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. We talked about that. When you're in fight, it looks like arguing, yelling, and defensiveness. If it looks like flight, you are avoiding conversations. You're shutting the person out. You're shutting down. You're distancing. You're not talking. This is not what we want. Freeze is going to look like you shutting down emotionally. And fawn is going to look like over accommodating to maintain peace. Okay? That's fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. Which one are you in? Type it in the comments right now. Are you fawning? Are you freezing? Are you in flight? Or are you in fight? And it's okay if you are. What's up, Agata? Welcome. Thank you for joining my live. I appreciate it. You guys know what to do. If you could please tap my screen so I can at least get to 1,000 likes. I mean, I'm just saying, other people have to hear this, and that is my intention, is to give people better information so that they can create better intimacy in their relationships, so that they can flame their love space. And by flame, I mean find love and make it exciting. So listen, many people who call themselves or allow somebody else to call them this word that I despise, which is crazy. Crazy. I don't like that word. Crazy are actually stuck in survival adaptation. That changes everything. Here's something very important that you need to distinguish between fight, flight, fawn, freeze, and where you're at in this situation. A trauma response is not automatically healthy, but it is understandable. If somebody's been poking the bear and poking the bear and poking the bear for all this time, eventually you're a human. You're going to have some type of reaction to it, and it may not be so pleasant. So, your healing is going to require understanding before correction. Like you get upset because this person has been telling you something for 6 months that they have not done. And then that very last time you ask them, hey, I've been, waiting around very patiently for the last 6 months and this isn't done. And they tell you something like, well, just because I ain't did it before don't mean just because I ain't did it yet don't mean I ain't gonna do it. Ooh, when I'm telling you, that can send you out the door or inside craziness. That's when you want to put your hands on somebody, but I'm trying to get you not to do that, okay? Don't do that. What's up, Cousins Fast? Welcome in. So, your healing is going to require understanding before you correct it. You got to be able to know what the hell you're dealing with in order to be able to correct it, all right? You got to name it, flame it. Wait, you got to name, first you got to feel it, then you got to flame it, then you got to free it, okay? Flame is set it on fire, or flames actually purify your relationship as well. I'm doing good, cuz. Thanks for asking. I'm doing well. So, you're not gonna have shame before awareness, okay? Here's the skill that I need for you to understand. When you are emotionally activated, ask yourself these questions. Number 1, what actually happened. Like what really happened. Not no made up version, not no drama filled version that you want to tell your good girlfriends over brunch to make it juicy. What actually happened? What story did I attach to it? Did you say they crazy? Everybody act like that. They all do that. This is why I don't like dating. Did you say that? If you said that, then you are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Okay, you guys? Number 4, what evidence challenges this thought? Okay, this is what happened. You told this person that taking the trash out is something that you enjoy. They did not take the trash out. That's the evidence, okay? The evidence that supports the story is that you asked them or you told them that you don't like it when the trash gets full. They didn't take the trash out when it got full. That's really, really what happened. What's up, Mr. Go Get 'em? Welcome in. The evidence that challenges it, there isn't any. That's really what happened. So this is what you're going to do, okay? You're going to make sure that what you're feeling is real. Your feelings are valid, but are they real for the situation, okay? What's up, Hannah? Welcome in. Okay, so last one is what need beneath this reaction is asking to be acknowledged. Simple. You need the trash taken out. Why is that important? Because trash stinks. And you got too much of it, it might attract bugs. It doesn't make you feel like you're in a clean space. Whatever that trash being full does for you, all right? The last question is the most powerful one because sometimes anger is protecting grief, all right? And grief tends to be the root of most of the dysfunction that happens in our relationships, you guys. It's usually rooted in grief. Wow! Sometimes defensiveness is protecting humiliation. Sometimes clinginess is protecting abandonment terror. Now, this is how we work the shadow work and the accountability together. Now listen carefully, all right? Because flame does not repeat ourselves and we do not teach victim Olympics. Healing also requires accountability, y'all. Some people become so focused on surviving emotional harm that they never examine the ways survival changed them. Maybe you became hypervigilant. Maybe you became reactive. Maybe you started testing people. Maybe you became emotionally sharp-tongued because softness felt unsafe. If any of this resonates with you, please put a flame in the chat because, baby, that sharp tongue, that's me. So listen, as I talk to you, I talk to me. I don't know everything. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I am certified in this area, okay? And the reason why I chose to study this is because there was no one out there that I could talk to about what I was going through. People wouldn't listen for long. They would get tired. And I was like, I got to figure this out on my own because I cannot depend on somebody else for my mental health safety. Okay? We don't want to do that. We want to have all of the tools that we need inside of our mental health toolbox and our safety plans to keep us together. So, this doesn't make you evil, but unhealed pain can accidentally become someone else's emotional weather forecast. Now, ask yourself this. What part of me only appears when I feel emotionally unsafe? That question is going to crack open entire dimensions of self-awareness. Because many people don't actually know themselves outside of survival mode. Wow. Now, how are you going to rebuild yourself? I'm so glad that you asked. And see, here's the thing. What I'm noticing is that when there's information being given on how to heal, how to navigate these relationships, what you need to look at within yourself, how to determine whether you are being used or whether you're just perceiving a situation wrong, don't nobody want to tap into that. But I bet you if this panel was full of 5 or 6 different people that was arguing back and forth and there were gender wars going on and people calling each other B's and N's and all that, this panel would be full. But we don't rock like that around here. So the number one thing that you need to do is stop cross-examining your humanity, all right? Stop cross-examining your humanity. You are not automatically abusive because you had emotional reactions. Behavior matters, your patterns matter, intent matters, context matters, and growth matters. Step 2 is to learn emotional differentiation. Sounds like what it is. Not every uncomfortable feeling means rejection, abandonment, betrayal, or danger. What's up, West Valley? Welcome in. What's up, young crew? Sometimes people disagree, and sometimes communication styles clash. Sometimes timing just sucks, and sometimes people just are generally manipulative. Wisdom is learning the difference, okay? Learning the difference between communication styles that clash, that people sometimes disagree, that not every uncomfortable feeling means rejection, abandonment, betrayal, or desire, okay? Those are important. Wisdom is learning the difference. Step 3, what's up, young crew? Did I speak to you already? If I didn't, I'm saying hi again. What's up? Welcome to the live. Number 3, you're going to build self-trust. Self-trust again. Self-trust is rebuilt through consistency, not perfection. Even small promises to yourself. I don't know how many of y'all said on January 1st that you was going to get back in the gym and you was going to start eating right. How many of y'all are still functioning in that promise that you made to yourself? None of y'all? Okay. Keep some small promises to yourself, like journaling. Now listen, I'm the kind of person that regular journals kind of don't do it for me. So I have a journal in my TikTok shop. It's called Wreck Your Journal. For some of y'all who are childlike on the inside, like me, I'm always entertaining my little girl. I have it in my TikTok shop and it's called Wreck Your Journal. This particular journal has you do really unorthodox things, like punch holes in the journal. There's another thing where you can tie a string around the journal and take it for a walk. There's another thing about the journal that says take it to a high place and drop it. There's another page that says paste all white things here. It's very interactive. So if you like stuff like that, I suggest you go to my TikTok shop and check it out. I'm just saying. And if you have children, this will be a really great tool to give to your children as well. Because kids, 9 times out of 10, kids ain't about to sit down and write nothing for no 30 minutes. But they definitely will wreck a journal that they can poke holes into it or color on it and all the things that it offers. Check it out. It's in my TikTok shop. So journaling. Keeping promises to yourself about your boundaries, about your sleep patterns, because sleep is important. Lack of sleep can actually contribute to us being in a low mood or low vibrational, snappy to our bae, our boo, our lover, all of that. If you're not getting good rest and they tell you that you need 8 hours, I don't subscribe to that. I think you should meditate about it and ask your body what it needs. It'll tell you. Also, hydration. Keeping yourself hydrated, okay? Sometimes our moods could just be based on the fact that we just thirsty. Shit. So saying no is hard for people, but you got to stick to it. And leaving conversations when disrespected. Oh, baby, I'm good for that. I will pack up a whole bag and leave, not tell nobody nothing and be just as nice and be like, all right, thank you so much. I had a really interesting time. Not lying. The time was interesting. Done it. I did it a few weeks ago and it was all looking at me like, where you going? Home. Okay. I do not stay when I'm being disrespected. I can't because I get triggered. Next thing you know, something might be broke. You know what I'm saying? There may be an opportunity for the friendship to be rekindled, but they definitely have to speak out to me first because they disrespected me. So I just leave. I know me and I don't like me when I get mad. Anyway, tiny acts of self-loyalty actually rebuild fractured identity. Brick by brick, boundary by boundary, truth by truth. And here's the final Flame Your Love Space message for today's topic of the audacity of emotional chaos. Here's what I need you to understand. A person can be emotionally overwhelmed without being emotionally worthless. Okay? A person can react poorly and still deserve compassion. And a person can have trauma and still need accountability. Both things can exist. I hear people say that all the time. Two things can be true at one time. Absolutely. Once you do that and you realize that, that's maturity. That's integration. Look that word up. I need you to understand what I'm talking about, okay? That is a psychological adulthood. And my boy Carl Jung would probably light a cigarette dramatically in the shadows after hearing that. So here's your final reframe as we wrap up another Flame Your Love Space lesson for today. Stop asking yourself, am I crazy? Because you're not. Start asking yourself, what environments taught me to distrust my own reality? I'm going to say that again. That's a good one. That is a good one. Instead of asking yourself, or am I crazy? Ask yourself, what environments, what's up, fronto fat boy? What environments taught me to distrust my own reality? That question right there, woo, that's the beginning of your liberation, all right? Now I'm going to close with this. Protect your peace. Integrate your patterns. Challenge your distortions. And stop handing unrestricted emotional Wi-Fi access to people who keep downloading chaos into your nervous system. Because intimacy should feel like connection, not psychological Sudoku. All right, y'all. Thank you so much to those of y'all who tapped in for a little minute, a long minute, however long you stayed. I appreciate you guys for joining my live. Thank you for all the 252 taps. Thank you, Deetra. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Dom, for liking the video. I appreciate you guys. Join me next time at Flame Your Love Space. You guys, make sure you follow me at the Swookie Cookie Company. I don't know how to put that in the comments, but it's SWOOKIE Cookie, COOKIE. That is my other platform. I make the best tasting sweet potato pie cookie in the world. 32 plus flavors. You can mix and match your own. They are customizable sweet potato pie cookies for any palate, vegan, gluten-free, or not. Sugar-free. You can get all the stuff in it or you can get all the stuff out of it and they're still delicious. All right, y'all. This is Deechlyn reminding you to learn how to love on yourself. Once you learn how to love on yourself, you can go out and show mad love to other people. Building intimacy is a necessity. It is crucial to having a healthy relationship. And building intimacy is not just jumping in the bed with somebody. You got to get to know them mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And it takes time. And when it's done right, you definitely will flame your love space. All right? All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.